Welcome to the NYY Recaps postgame show. The stream is about to begin.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
What a throw by Judge.
It's a triple play.
Yankees win.
Almost driven deep to left field. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it.
Before we get started, a few highlights from today's game.
Hit sharply to short. Torres. Strike three. Grichuk down on strike. Fly ball right field. Toward the line is Frazier shading his eyes. And he makes the play in foul territory.
The 2-1 to Simeon and a ball drilled deep left field, and the Blue Jays will take the lead. 1-1 to Bichette, and he drills one to deep left field, and it will stay fair. Back-to-back home runs.
Major league debut, Alek Manoah has been mowing him down. Really, everything's on display. Pretty impressive. A three-pitch.
Stick around for the post-game reaction, followed by an audience question and answer session.
How's it going, Patrick? How you doing?
You know, I can't complain. Not that bad of a game for me today, honestly.
Why is that?
Honestly, all right, Derek, hear me out.
Sorry, you cut out. What's that?
Oh, I was saying, were we expecting to win game one today, if we're being honest?
So I had no idea what to expect with Alek Manoah. I had heard he's good, but I've heard a lot of rookies are good, and then they come up and get shellacked. But when I saw the lineup, I kind of wasn't feeling great about it. And
Yeah.
honestly, ever since Corey Kluber exited that game the other night, it seems like all of the energy got sucked out of this team. Like the whole vibe of that win streak and all that just kind of got sucked away. And I mean, I always expect to win, but after seeing Alek Manoah for the first couple innings, I knew we weren't going to.
No, yeah, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, this is one of those games where I don't find it too frustrating. Only because I guess going into it, I was kind of pessimistic originally, right? Just because looking at the lineup, Odor was in the 2-hole, Ford was batting fifth, and the Yankees were going up against Manoah, who they usually struggle against guys who are making their major league debuts. I don't know what it is. But also, I mean, speaking of Manoah, like, this is a guy who was making his major league debut. There was so much hate on Yankees Twitter towards Manoah. I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, he looks like he's killed people, right? I mean, he's just this monster of a human being, gigantic beard.
I love that tweet.
Yeah, he's just like the scariest human being I've ever seen. You're like 6'5" or 6'6", whatever, 250, gigantic beard, super high energy person. Like, he's just not the guy you want to run into in a dark alley if he's got a problem with you. Like, he'll just pick you up and just twist the neck around. But look, hey, shout out to him. He did the job in his major league debut. I'm impressed, but I'm not surprised. And the Yankees offense has been anemic, so pretty much anybody who gets thrown out there with a pulse, the Yankees have no chance against. I will say a few things. First of all, my boy Andujar, 2 hits today. Looks like he's coming around. I do want to mention that Aaron Hicks, his season is over. They said before the game that he is definitely going to miss the rest of 2021. So the Yankees are going to need a center fielder, and they have called up Estevan Florial for Game 2. I've heard that he'll probably go down after Game 1. I don't know why. I mean, what if he gets a couple of hits? You know, he's still going to send him down. So, it is what it is. The Yankees obviously struggling right now. If I had control of the team for a day, I'd go out and get a legitimate center fielder, like somebody like a Ketel Marte, who can, just add some energy, can, play solid defense, hit from both sides of the plate. I don't know. It's just baffling to me that the offense continues to struggle this much.
Here's my thing, though, right? Like, obviously, we say that the Yankees could definitely use a center fielder, Ketel Marte. However, do I think anything's going to happen at the deadline? No. I think that they're very confident in Brett Gardner kind of being the starting center fielder moving forward. And that's kind of going to prevent them from doing anything at the deadline. It's unfortunate, but I think it's just the harsh reality of the truth. I said this to somebody today. I don't remember who I said it to. But if you look at the Yankees roster in 2019 and 2020, when they did nothing at the trade deadline, it was a lot worse then than it is now, which kind of leads me to believe that they're just going to stand pat.
I don't know. They could, but they also might do something. They're close enough to within, they're so far or so close to striking distance of first place that you don't want to fall into a funk right now, right? You don't want to just get this close and then relapse and end up sinking into mediocrity like they did last year, where they almost missed the playoffs. Everyone forgets about that.
Yeah, but we haven't seen them kind of care about like settling in mediocrity. Like they're clearly fine with that if you look at the past couple of years. So I don't know why this year would be any different.
I disagree. I don't think they're fine with it. I've been watching this team a long time. I think that they've let the eggheads take over a bit too much rather than, traditional baseball people. And I will say this. We're looking at Clint Frazier right now. He's the perfect example. StatCast will tell you that Clint Frazier is one of the worst outfielders in baseball. And we talked about this earlier. But I watch him, and I think, if I was watching a high school team, forget it's the Yankees, and I see somebody making the plays that he's making, he's laying out for balls, he's running into walls, he's battling the sun and making plays. Occasionally he hits a rocket. Obviously his offense has not been great this year. But defensively, StatCast tells you that he's the worst in baseball. And to me, I've been watching baseball a long time. I want that guy in my outfield. He just seems to make the plays.
No, yeah, and it's crazy because, I've had people tell me this in my chat as well, right? When I kind of hype up how good I think Frazier is defensively in the outfield, they'll say, "Oh, the only reason he makes these catches is because he has some of the worst, the worst jumps in Major League Baseball." It's such a stupid argument. There's so many aspects of Major League Baseball that you can't quantify. Is that the word? With a statistic, yeah. And I think like Clint Frazier's defense is one of those things.
Yeah, he passes the eye test to me. He's got a great arm, and that's kind of what I mean, is that there's probably a lot of examples like that where they're leaning on, stat-heavy stuff behind the scenes, maybe even as far as the approach at the plate against certain pitchers, like look for just this zone or look for just this pitch. Yeah. And doing that is costing them wins. Hey, we got a super chat. Dono Hype from Sawbelly. Appreciate that. We'll get the DJ horn.
Let's go.
That's
I love the sound effects.
Appreciate
my
that.
favorite thing.
Yeah, so I lost my train of thought, but look, they're relying on too much of the analytics, and you're going to get just steamrolled when you got a fresh guy with no scouting report. Here's
my thing, right? We say so much that the Yankees are so analytically driven, right? And a lot of the decisions they make are based on analytics, but then we see some things that we're like, how can analytics ever point you in that direction, right? Like what analytics tell you that Miguel Andujar is a good option in left field? And what analytics tell you that Rougned Odor or Brett Gardner should be batting second in the lineup, or that Mike Ford should be consistently getting at bats? I don't understand like how we think that they're so analytically driven, but then at the end of the day, they make all these like moves that we think are boneheaded.
Well, that's what I mean. The moves are so boneheaded that they can only be driven by analytics, because nobody in their right mind would bat Luke Voit leadoff and Brett Gardner second. Why
it doesn't make sense.
I do think that Miggy has looked better in the outfield, so I don't want to dump on Miggy too much because he's new to the position. I think that he takes good routes. I feel like he still struggles over that last 10 feet between where the ball's coming and settling into his glove. He seems to take his eye off of it. And I think a lot of guys can catch the ball off to the side, and he does that, when in reality you should probably catch it, try to think to catch it with your chin and your chest, catch it right here. So that way you can watch it all the way in. And I feel like he watches it here and puts his glove out, and so he loses track during this period between 10 feet up as it reaches its terminal velocity or whatever. And so, I don't want to dump on Miggy too much. He's just got some fundamentals that he needs to work on, but he's new to the position. But things like batting Luke Voit leadoff and batting Rougned Odor, who's hitting what's he hitting, 170? Hitting
it's gotta
second.
Be 150.
That's the spot that's going to get the most opportunities in the game, and he had no chance today. And how long can you keep running Mike Ford out there? By the way,
it's so odd, bro. Give Chris Gittens a shot.
That's
Well,
what
like,
I'm
could
saying.
it be any worse?
This is the roster thing. So when you go to the 60-day IL, you are off of the 40-man roster. You know that Corey Kluber is going to be out for 2 months, 8 weeks. What's 6 times or 7 times 8? That's like 56.
I'm not the math guy.
That's 56.
Yeah, I think so.
So put him on the 60-day IL. Put him on the 60-day IL and call up Chris Gittens to help your offense for a day, or for however long. Just give him a shot. He's hitting 323 in AAA. He hits the hardest balls of anybody in the minor leagues. You can't give him a shot?
It's so aggravating. I don't know what they see in Mike Ford. I genuinely don't know what they see in him. And now with Voit out, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of Mike Ford.
So when Mike Ford first came up, he wrecked the league, as a lot of young hitters do when they first get to the major leagues. But the league figured out that he can't hit the high fastball, and worse than that, he can't lay off the high fastball. And so all you have to do right now is throw Mike Ford a fastball above the hands and on the outer part of the plate, and he's going to pop up or he's going to miss it. And everybody who's watching can see clear as day, but the Yankees keep running him out there. Mix it up. Mix it up.
But this is my thing, Derek. Like, this is exactly why I told you when we started things off. Like, I'm not too discouraged after today's game, simply because this is kind of what I've come to expect when they throw a lineup like this out there, right? I'm not expecting Rougned Odor or Mike Ford to kind of go yard just randomly against a guy who's making their major league debut. However, I would be more discouraged if the Yankees were at full strength right now and they were getting wrecked by Alek Manoah. You know what I mean? So right now, I think just what I'm hoping for is that the Yankees could just maintain their current performance, well, the performance before the Blue Jays series, until they do get back to full strength, and then kind of roll from there.
FG says the Yankees give birth to another Cy Young opposing pitcher. So quite
True.
literally, like, this was his debut. So, I mean, this was his birth into the major leagues. But I will say this about Manoah. I think he's going to be really good. He reminded me of kind of a young Felix Hernandez, just the size and the strength and the wickedness on his pitches and the command.
I love the emotion.
Yeah, I love the emotion. I love seeing these young guys. I think we both agreed on something about the Blue Jays players, one in particular, Bichette.
Yes.
Just watching that guy play, he just plays with just incredible energy and fire, and just like he takes this big cut. He kind of like stunts when he hits a homer. I love it. I wish the Yankees had this guy. I'm not gonna lie. He would be. I mean, he would look great in pinstripes, first of all. But like, I wish they had more exciting guys like that. You know, the youth, the energy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's exactly my thing. And like, I don't love Bo Bichette just because like I have like 5 people in my chat every night telling me that I look like him. But like, I love Bo Bichette simply because, bro, like it's that confidence that he kind of exudes off of himself, right? And the only thing that sucks is if he did come to the Yankees, they would probably make him cut his hair.
Yeah,
and I think that's so much of it that make us love him, right?
Well, I do think the Yankees need to reevaluate the hair rule, the facial hair rule.
Oh, we went over this, yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. My audience is pretty divided on this. Every time I bring it up, I get a lot of mixed opinions.
It's so 50-50.
It is
so 50-50.
It is, and for that reason, I don't think they'll change it. But personally, as somebody who wears a beard, when I look, Rougned Odor can relate to this. When I shave my beard, I just look like this weird amorphous creature from the X-Files. And so I wear it because I don't have a good jawline and I just look weird. And so I like having a beard.
But that's my thing, Derek. If you were to shave your beard but keep your mustache, you would look even weirder.
I would.
But that would be allowed. That would be fine. Like, have you seen her mom's mustache today?
I didn't see his mustache.
I wasn't a fan of it. I was not a fan of it.
Closely.
Straight out of the 70s.
Yeah, look, mustaches are weird. They're just a weird look. I'm not going to make any excuses for the people who wear mustaches out there. You're just weirdos. There's only 2 type of people that have a mustache: people who cook pizza for a living and firefighters. Anybody else needs to shave the mustache. Just grow a beard.
Yeah, there's one other profession as well, but I'm not going to bring it up. But yeah.
Okay, I'll leave that there. Yeah, so FG also says the Yankees drafted Bo Bichette's older brother Dante Jr. in 2011.
Yes.
I remember that. I think he was a first-round draft pick. He just never panned out. He had trouble making contact.
like many Yankees prospects. But yeah,
Yeah, so the Yankees got to win this game just to salvage the series at all. Otherwise, you're going to get swept. Sweeps at home, for some reason, hurt just a little bit more.
oh yeah.
What are you looking for in game 2 of this doubleheader?
I mean, normally when like we look at games, right, we kind of say, oh, we need the starting pitcher to do well. But I think it's more of the offense at this point, right? Because Herman pitched a decent game today. He definitely kept the Yankees in the ballgame, right? 2 earned runs against this Blue Jays lineup is solid. You would expect to kind of win that game only giving up 2 runs. So I think that the Yankees just need to hit. I'm not going to – I believe Monty's pitching in game 2, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Florial is getting the start in center field. So that'll be fun.
Derek, call me crazy. I'm not that high on Florial.
Well, I've seen a lot of prospects that get hyped and don't do much, but what I like about Florial is that he seems to actually have the tools. Every time that I've seen him, he's got great speed, he's got good bat speed, he's got a nice swing, he's got a very, very pretty swing. It's very level, but with just a slight uppercut if he pulls the ball, which is dangerous in Yankee Stadium. His stride reminds me of Bernie Williams. I watched every inning of Bernie Williams' career pretty much, and you know, these things get imprinted on your mind. I see him run, and I see Bernie Williams. And I'm sure that's what the Yankees see as well. And that's you know, the same guys probably scouted Florial that scouted Bernie Williams. And they say, hey, look, another Bernie Williams. But, look, I don't want to put that much pressure on the kid because he is 23. He's only played a couple of games above Double-A. He's already got his first big league hit. He went 1 for 3 last year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Just let the kid play. I mean, he can't be any worse than Brett Gardner right now. Brett Gardner's won for his last 250 at-bats or some shit.
I'm glad someone's saying it because I had this intense debate with Dan the other night on my stream, kind of going back and forth about, like, he's trying to tell me Brett Gardner's still good. Brett Gardner doesn't really provide any value to this team anymore. It kind of sucks. So, yeah, I mean, if Florial can come up and be better than Gardner, I'm all for it. But like you mentioned, prior to this season, he hasn't played above Double-A. He hasn't looked that impressive so far this season between Double-A and Triple-A, despite kind of the home run videos you see on Twitter every now and then.
Right.
But I hope he does well. But my hopes are not high whatsoever. I think all the people who are hyping him up to be like the Yankees savior, I think you're a little bit delusional. But I still hope he comes up and does well.
Yeah, they are starting a lefty tonight. So Guillermo del Valencia says start him up against a left-handed nasty pitcher. He's hitting 170 in Triple-A. He doesn't like the math there. So, yeah, I mean, it is kind of a tough gig for him. But, hey, that's what being in the big leagues is. You know, that's what big league baseball's about. You got to rise to the occasion. I will say this. Yeah. You know, with guys being out, it is kind of fun to see the young guys just get a chance, just to get a look at them in big league, you know, in a big league uniform. Even if he comes up and plays one game, you know, still get to see Estevan Florial, right? So I hope they don't send him down, but, you know, we'll go with it if they do. We got another dono here. I've seen enough. We need to blow up the hitting lineup. We can't continue to waste this amazing starting pitching almost every day. We're going with the dono hype. I don't know about blowing up the entire roster, the entire offense there, but I do kind of feel like we need to take another look at the hitting coach and the hitting philosophy. What do you think about that?
I mean, we've said this for so long, right? I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Marcus Timms remained the hitting coach for as long as he has. I feel like he just doesn't really provide anything to this team. Now, obviously, we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but we've had so many guys who kind of just rake in AAA, right? And then they come up to the bigs, and the performance just doesn't translate. And it's odd because a guy like Gary Sanchez, right? How is it possible that Marcus Timms, as the Yankees hitting coach, hasn't really found out a way to solve Gary's problems at the plate? This is a guy who has so much talent. We were looking at him as the king of New York baseball back in 2016, and now he can't bat over his weight.
You know, my dad, who I learned a lot of my baseball from, it's Sawbelly. He just posted a comment that, honestly, like when I read it, I was thinking, oh, this is actually kind of true. Wade looks like the best outfielder right now. Like the way he runs, the way he tracks,
very smooth out there.
He is legit fast. Like he looks like an old school outfielder.
Yeah.
And you know, he kind of reminds me of Ricky Leday, who was the Yankees. He was a top prospect the Yankees called up in the late 90s. And he never really hit like they thought he was going to hit, but he was a great outfielder. He had tons of speed. He threw left-handed. Wade throws right-handed, but they both had just incredible speed. And
Wade has kind of won me over this year. Not gonna lie.
look, I made a video a couple weeks back that was just called "Tyler Wade Sucks at Baseball." It was like the most. It was the hardest I've ever ripped any player. I went off on Tyler Wade, and not only did he get 3 hits that night, but I think he's hitting 300 since. So it was like he was just waiting, and like that was rock bottom for him and for me. And then and then he just turned it on. So I've got high hopes that he can fill in as the 4th outfielder, but I don't want to see him starting.
Same. I think it's also a troubling situation, right? Just because kind of the emergence of Brett Gardner in center field, and then the fact that Tyler Wade could play out there too, the fact that we mentioned Andujar hasn't looked that bad defensively. I think all these things combined are going to be the reason that the Yankees don't go out at this trade deadline season and go acquire a legitimate starting center fielder, and that's kind of what hurts the most.
All right, so let's say that you get one trade. We were going to do this yesterday on the 643 DP, but we had to postpone it. Let's say that you get one trade. There's, Brian Cashman gives you the keys for 1 hour and says, Patrick, I can't do it. Take over for me today. What's the one move you're going after? What's the one guy you're getting?
Now, if Cashman did give me the keys, I mean, we're doing a couple other moves. First, one, Gardner's getting DFA'd. 2, Dietrich is coming up. But if we're making a trade with somebody, now I think a lot of people are kind of going to go the Ketel Marte route, right? He's kind of like the fun name in Yankee land as of late. However, I'm going with a pitcher. I think we talked about him last time I was on, and that's Max Scherzer, bro. Yeah. I think we're going to make a deal. It's going to be 2 coming back from the Nationals. It's going to be Scherzer and Schwarber.
Oh,
you
wow.
get that outfielder. Now, in exchange for that, I think you kind of set up the deal revolving around either Schmidt or Devi, whichever ones the Nats want more. Then you include Andujar, and you probably have to include like 2 other guys. I'm not thinking anybody too much of significance. Maybe like an Oswald Peraza. I don't know really what his fit is in the organization in the long term, so you probably include him and 1 other guy as well. But I think Scherzer could be the perfect replacement for Kluber in the meantime while he's hurt. And I don't think that they are going to replace Kluber, but it's kind of just me being optimistic in that sense. I think the Severino return is pairing up perfectly to be like, well, Severino is coming back as their trade deadline acquisition. But I would love Scherzer.
Got another dono here from Michael Anderson. Herman is the 2B to Kluber. Yeah, Herman has been pretty good this year. I actually jinxed it. I texted you because we were talking about the postgame, and I said my preseason prediction for Herman was a 2.62 ERA, and at that point in the game, he had a 2.87 ERA. So I was kind of talking some shit a little bit, like, look at me. And then the next 2 pitches literally out of the ballpark. And at that point, I just felt horrible. I felt horrible. It reminded me I've always been very superstitious about baseball. And I never say, oh, it's over. This thing is over. But I had a Red Sox fan roommate in college. And 2004, the Yankees were up 3-0 in the ALCS. And I went against my golden rule. And I said to my buddy, I said, this series is over. You don't even need to watch. I said, it's done. Forget it. No team's ever come back from 3-0. And then the Red Sox came back. So I've been personally carrying that guilt for the last 17 years of me causing that downfall.
Derek, you know what? I don't think jinxes are real. However, when it comes to you, I think they are. Only because every interaction we ever have with each other, as far as like baseball goes, one, the watch party when Tyone made his first start against the Orioles, you're like, wow, he's cruising. He looks so good. Bang. Absolute moonshot. And then today with the whole, Herman looks fantastic, back-to-back home runs. Maybe we should just like stay quiet during the games.
Yeah, maybe. All right, guys, we'll be back. Yankees are about to start here at 7 o'clock, so we will be back. I'll be back anyway. Patrick will have his own show tonight. Be sure to check out Unhinged Yankees. Yankees drop this one 2-0 to the Blue Jays. I'll see you next time.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. If you really enjoyed it, check out the swag section. We've got tons of great designs to support all your favorite Yankees. And if you simply cannot get enough Yankees content, check out the podcast version of this channel, The Frieze by NYY Recaps, available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Derek. Thanks for watching.